Hey y'all, Farmer Dre back at it. It's another beautiful day here on the farm, but I want to thank everybody for stopping by. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you guys want to help me out, I would appreciate it. Alrighty, so we are out here in high tunnel number 2, where of course we got these strawberries growing. And if you look from this angle here, there's not much dirt left. It's all a bunch of green foliage. So that means it's going to be a good strawberry year out of here. And as you guys know, this is my first time ever growing strawberries in a high tunnel. So I'm learning along with you guys. So I'm bringing you guys along for the journey. So I had a few people reach out and ask me, how do you like growing high tunnel strawberries? They're like, I don't know. We'll see in the spring because I've never done it. So I guess go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you guys can be notified whenever I do post videos about the high tunnel strawberries. But today we got Moses back, and we're going to go ahead and clean off the runners and a lot of the flower buds that have came out before we throw on the row covers in here for the season. And yes, we're going to go ahead and put on a row cover in here in a couple of weeks whenever it gets really cold, just because whenever you have a closed high tunnel, it protects the plants from about 5 to 10 degrees. But then again, whenever it gets down in the low teens, then you really need that protection. And of course, this is the most precious piece of property on our farm, so we got to try to push as much production as possible. So that's why in a couple of weeks here, we're gonna go ahead and put on a row cover in here. And in here is nice because we don't have to put any sandbags or anything. Just unroll the row cover and just let it be. So that's what we're gonna do today. Pull off the flowers, the runners, and make sure there's not any weeds growing in the holes, so that we can ensure a really good crop for next year. We got the Albions over here growing nicely, vigorously, and like I mentioned in my other videos, we have 4 different varieties in here. For the ones that are new to this video, we got Albion, Monterey, which are, those two are day neutral varieties, and we got June bearing varieties, Chandlers and Roccos. So that's what we're growing in here. So yeah, these Albions they're a little slower growing, not as vigorous as a Monterey there, but they're still growing. And once I got them planting this, I started doing some readings about these day neutral varieties, and they said space out the Montereys a little further apart because they're a lot more vigorous than the Albions. But I guess that's how you learn. That's how you learn, one day at a time, 1 year at a time, and just keep it going. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with these June bearings here. These are the Roccos, Chandlers, and this row is half Chandlers, half Monterey. So what we're doing here, we're just coming through, inspecting the plants. And if you guys watch my other videos, you guys know we had a bit of an insect issue on these. That chemical I sprayed kind of wiped them all off, and now it's safe to work in here, and the plants are doing great. But just look at the plants right here. My goodness, these are a foot apart on each side. Look at that. It's already December and they're already touching, so we will see how vigorous these will get in the spring. So anyways, we're just coming through here, pulling off all the flowers that we see. If there's any weeds in the hole, then we will take care of those. And that's in if any runners, like right here, Rocco runners, take them off and be done for. So it's not too terribly bad. And you can see this time here the branch crown. So that was the main crown when we planted. And look at all the other branch crowns in there. So you can see a really good crop of strawberries out of here. And we are also pulling off any of the diseased leaves or any dead leaves like that, just to ensure that the plants won't have any issue and bacteria pressure from the side of the plants that could potentially do that. Anyways, you guys get the point of what we're doing here, so I'm going to go ahead and set the camera on the wall and get to work and try to get this task done pretty quick. So just like that, we got done pulling off the flowers, the runners, and the plants are cleaned up. We pulled up a lot of weeds from inside the holes there, because if you guys remember last year, or if you guys go back, not last year, last season, this past spring, if you guys go back and watch my field strawberry videos, you guys know that we had a big issue with weeds inside the plants of the strawberries. And you know, I planted that ryegrass. I mean, I went back the other day and looked at some of my videos of us harvesting, and it was a big mess. So if you guys want to see how strawberries are not supposed to be grown, go ahead and click back on, just scroll through my videos and see some of my older strawberry videos of us harvesting. It was a big mess. So this year, or this season, I don't want anything to be wrong here. So I'd rather spend the extra time and extra labor and the extra investment to go ahead and pull off all the weeds and make sure the plants are cleaned and nice, so that we have a really good clean crop in here. Because first of all, a clean crop makes it easier for, first of all, the customers. I mean, because they get a nice clean berry, and also makes our lives easier, the farmer's life a whole lot easier, just because it makes picking a whole lot easier. I mean, if you're not having to dig through weeds and through a big old mess of stuff, it makes it a whole lot easier, and it's better for the plant, more vigor, better for the entire, just the health of the plant to begin with. So that's why we're being extra precautious, spending that extra time in here to make sure that we don't have any weed issue. And then of course in the spring, as the runners start coming along, and as more weeds, more of the annual summer weeds start growing, we're going to come through here again, and it's just keeping them clean and ready to go. And one thing that I realized in here, whenever we laid this plastic down, that machine didn't really make a nice firm raised bed. So a lot of these plants in between the rows here, they're just, I mean, if I pull real hard, the whole entire plant comes out. There's not much to, you know, to secure that plant. That's why in the field, you want these strawberry plants to, the beds, before you lay the beds, you want the beds to be very solid and firm, so that whenever those roots grow inside that bed, then, you know, it makes the plant just secure to its location. But I mean, in a high tunnel, we're not going to have any extreme weather conditions because we're protected, so I'm not too worried about that. But that's kind of good to know for next year, and if we do ever plant high tunnel strawberries again in the future, so we can know that, you know what, we got to have a really firm bed, so whenever you plant, you don't have any issues. Alrighty, so another thing that I've noticed and saw whenever we were working out here, especially on these day neutral varieties, Monterey's and Albions, you guys see that webbing there on the plant, and then on the back, if you turn around, you see tiny spots, and just that right there. And you know, looking at what this is and seeing the problem, I think we do have a spider mite issue in here. Just a small one. That's why it's good to come through here and inspect your plants, so that you can know what's going on in your high tunnel. And with spider mites, they're terrible, because if you don't treat them now, then you will have a big issue in the spring, because they just take over your tunnel. Then it'll affect your yield and your crop, and your plants just start deteriorating. So that's why it's good to keep an eye on these things. And with these spider mites, they're kind of a pain to get rid of, just because they're so small, and a lot of the insecticides are very finicky. And if the temperature is not right, and if you don't add some crop oil and stuff to it, it just makes it real hard to kill them off. So that's why you got to do them whenever, you got to kill them off whenever the plants and the mites inside your planting is, the population is very low, because it's easier to control something whenever the population is low, and then whenever your entire high tunnel is infested. So just on these day neutral varieties, the Albions and the Monterey's, I'm seeing a little bit of it, but for me, that's already too much. We already have an issue. So whenever it's an overcast day outside, I gotta come out here again with the sprayer. And you know, there's no more aphid issue, but now we have spider mite issue. So if it's not one thing, it's another. And you know, I was aware of this whenever we did plant this high tunnel full of strawberries, just, you know, because talking to other farmers and talking to the guys, to the McNitt who sold us the plugs, and just trying to learn as much information, gain as much information as I can. So it's good now that I know this, because you know, now we can treat the problem, and I don't think we'll have an issue. If I treat it now, we won't have a big issue in the spring. So yeah, it's pretty cool to kind of see an issue and have the right guys to go to see if they can help you out. Because you know, that's the thing in the agricultural community, if you don't have any help, or if you don't have anybody to turn to, then your life just becomes 10 to 12 times harder. So that's why, for the ones that are wondering, that's why I go to all the growers conferences possible. That's why I go to all these growers workshops, just because, you know, you might learn one thing 2 years ago, and you know, 5-10 years down the plant, or even today, you know, I learned about mites and stuff a couple years ago at a conference, and then today I'm applying it. So that's why it's always good to continue learning and to continue progressing your knowledge in a certain crop, just because you never know what the issue or the disease is, so they can be very aware. And that's why it's really good to have a nice community of farmers and specialists in the field, so you can turn to, so that whenever there's an issue, just give them a call or just send them a picture or something, and then within a few minutes they respond and give you the right answer that you need so that you won't have the problem anymore. But you know, that's the beauty of agriculture and the community around us, and everybody, you know, I might know something, another person might know something, and together we just build this great agricultural empire. So this is gonna be pretty much it for today. Sharpies are nice and clean, ready to go for the spring. Like I mentioned earlier, if it gets too cold in here, we're gonna have to go put it and throw a row cover on top of here just to make sure the plants are comfortable and we're not losing any crop for the spring. So this is gonna be pretty much it for today. I want to thank everybody for watching up to this video. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, go ahead and smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, I'm coming to you guys every single day until I hit 10K. I want to thank everybody for sticking around up to this point of this video. You guys have a good day, and we'll see you next time.